Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be covering complete Unit 1 in DevOps subject. I will explain what is software development lifecycle, agile model, 12 principles of agile software development, difference between agile and waterfall model, what is scrum and kanban methodologies, and difference between scrum and kanban, what is DevOps lifecycle, best practices and principles of DevOps, difference between agile and DevOps, and what is continuous integration, continuous delivery and continuous deployment, and common bottlenecks in DevOps CI/CD process and how to overcome them, and role of automation in DevOps and examples of popular automation tools, and what are artifacts and what is artifact repository, monitoring and feedback stage in DevOps, release management in DevOps, and relationship between DevOps and ITIL. I will explain each and every topic in detail, and whatever the topics that I am going to cover in this video, I will provide all those topics and their timings in description. So before starting this video, please check in description. I will provide this DevOps Unit 1 study material link in description. You can download from description. If you are watching this video for the first time, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Let's get started. At first, I will explain what is software development lifecycle. Guys, we also call this software development lifecycle as software development process. Process is nothing but sequence of steps followed by software company in order to develop high quality software is known as process. So software development lifecycle is a process used by software industry or software companies in order to design, develop and test high quality softwares. The main aim of software development lifecycle is to produce high quality software. That software must reach customer expectations and the software must complete within short time with less cost. If you want to develop any high quality software, then without using any software development lifecycle, you cannot develop high quality software. For example, whenever any team is developing software, then they must clearly understand what to do and when to do. If they don't know what to do and when to do, then they cannot develop high quality software and their project may get failure. So software development lifecycle contains complete steps from starting to till the end. And these steps are in disciplined and systematic manner. So by following these steps, we can easily develop high quality software. This is complete software development lifecycle. By following this process, that is by following these steps, we can develop high quality software. This first step is requirement gathering and analysis, and next step is design, and after that implementation or coding, and next step is testing, next deployment and maintenance. I will explain all these steps one by one in detail. First one is requirement gathering and analysis. Guys, in each and every software company, there will be a business analyst or project manager. What they will do is, they will communicate with clients. Clients are nothing but people who want software. They are clients. For example, I am college owner. I want one college application. So here I act as client. So I'll go to software company and then I will meet this business analyst or project manager. And then I will ask them to create one good quality software for my college. And then I will tell about my requirements like my college software must contain both login forms for student and faculty. And the software must display attendance of student and faculty. And then the software must display marks of students and it should display complete faculty details and so on. So I'll tell all my requirements to this business analyst. Whenever I tell my requirements, this business analyst will note my requirements in one document. The document name is business requirement specification document. So after finalizing this business requirement specification document, they will create another document. The document name is software requirement specification document. Shortly we call it as SRS. This SRS document contains complete information about project like what are the softwares required to develop this project and what are hardware requirements, like how much time it will take to complete this project, how many developers required, cost of the project and so on. So they will mention all this in SRS document. In requirement gathering and analysis phase, they will create BRS document, they will create SRS document. This is all about requirement gathering and analysis phase. Next one is design phase. After completion of requirement gathering and analysis phase, in software company, designers will create one blueprint. Blueprint is nothing but diagram. So by seeing that blueprint, we can clearly understand that how our software look like after implementation. For example, if you consider house construction, before constructing house, builder will show you one blueprint. So by seeing that blueprint, you can clearly understand that how our house will look like after construction. So in same way, before actually creating any software, designers will create one blueprint. By seeing that blueprint, we can clearly understand how our software look like after implementation. This design phase contains two steps. They are high level design and low level design. High level design means it will display complete software architecture. And whereas low level design will describe how each and every feature should work in the software. For example, in college software, there is login form. So login form is considered as one feature. Student login form is considered as one feature. Faculty login form is considered as another feature. And student attendance is considered as one feature. Like that, it will describe how each feature should work. Third phase is implementation or coding phase. By seeing blueprint, software developers will start developing code. This is one of the longest phase in software development lifecycle. It will consume lot of time to develop code. This phase contains front-end, middleware and back-end, where front-end is nothing but by using which programming language they are developing code like Java, C++, Python, so on. And back-end is nothing but which database they are using like Oracle, MySQL and so on. And whereas middleware is software that will connect this both front-end and back-end. This is all about implementation or coding phase. And fourth phase is testing phase. In testing phase, software testers will take code from software developers and then they will start testing that code, whether that code is working correctly or not. And fifth phase is deployment phase. Once after successfully completion of testing, deployment engineer will place that software in one server. So all users can access the software. This is deployment phase. And last one is maintenance phase. Even after successfully releasing our software, we need to provide support. That is, if there are any bugs, we need to fix that bugs. And if we want any updates, we can provide updates. So this comes under maintenance phase. Next I will explain what is waterfall model. This waterfall model is one of the easiest and traditional model. And this waterfall model is suitable only for small size projects. It is not suitable for large size projects. And these are various stages in waterfall model. Same stages I already explained before in software development lifecycle. Guys, in waterfall model, only after completion of first phase, we will go to next phase. For example, only after completion of requirement gathering, we will go to design phase. Similarly, after design phase, development phase, after the testing phase, and next deployment phase and maintenance phase. So in waterfall model, only after completion of first phase, we will go to next phase. For example, I am in testing phase and I want to perform some changes in development phase. If you are in testing phase, we cannot go back to this development phase. For example, I am in development phase. Now I want to perform some changes in design phase. So if you are in development phase, we cannot go back to this design phase. If you see these arrow marks, all these are flowing only downward direction like waterfall. So that is why we call it as waterfall model. It will only flow in downward direction. The waterfall model is universally accepted software development lifecycle model. In this method, the whole process of software development is divided into various phases. I already said before. The development in the waterfall model is seen as flowing steadily downward like a waterfall, as it is a continuous software development model. Guys, these are some of the important points that you need to remember in this waterfall model. And the first point is, waterfall model is not suitable to develop large scale projects. It is suitable only for small size projects. And next one is, the requirements in the waterfall model should be clear cut at the beginning time. You need to give all requirements of the project at the beginning. We cannot add any requirements in the middle. So you need to give all requirements at the beginning. If you don't give requirements at the beginning, we cannot develop efficient software. In the waterfall model, it is hard to move back in order to make changes in the previous phase. We cannot go back to previous phase in order to make any changes. The testing process in waterfall model starts after completion of development. So we can find lot of bugs in testing phase. This is all about waterfall model. Next I will explain what is use of agile model. Agile is an iterative and incremental approach. Iterative is nothing but repeating same process again and again. That is, repeating requirement gathering, designing, coding, testing again and again. This is iterative approach. Incremental approach is nothing but initially we will create one software with very basic features and then we will keep on adding new features to the same software. This is incremental approach. I will give one example. Yes, for example, I am college owner. I want to create one college software by using this waterfall model, not agile model, waterfall model. So initially in requirement gathering phase, I set features like I want college software. The software must contain student login and as well as faculty login. And the software must contain student attendance details. So the software company developed that software by using waterfall model. So after software development, again I said that I want new feature like it should display result of the student. So after creating software, it is impossible to add new features. We cannot perform any major changes to that particular software using waterfall model. In order to overcome this problem, many software companies are using agile model. In agile model, they will create software with very basic features. For example, I said I want student login form in that software and I want faculty login form in that software and I want student attendance details in the software. So in the software, student login and faculty login is very important. So in agile model, initially they will develop software with very basic features and they will keep on adding new features. For example, they created student login form and as well as faculty login form and as well as student attendance details. So again I said that I want to display student results in this particular software. So easily they can add new features to that particular software. This is major difference between waterfall model and agile model. So agile model is an iterative and incremental approach. Iterative is nothing but whenever we get any new feature, we need to repeat the steps. And whereas incremental approach is nothing but initially we will create software with very basic features and then we will keep on adding new features to that same software. So this is diagram. It will run like a loop. For example, for first feature, it will plan, design, develop, test, deploy, review, and then it will launch. And similarly again for new features, again plan, design, develop, test, deploy, review and launch. So this is iterative process. In agile process, we will deliver piece of software with few functionalities and later on we will keep on adding new functionalities to that same software. So there is no need of customer to wait long time until entire software is developed. So there is no need of customers to develop long time until entire software is developed. Agile is a process that follows concept of Agile Manifesto held in February 2001. Guys, this Agile Manifesto is nothing but it is a book that contains 12 principles. Software companies must follow these 12 principles in order to develop high quality software. And the first principle is highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuously delivery of valuable software. In this Agile Manifesto, first principle is to satisfy customers. How we can satisfy any customer? We should deliver software very fast and then we need to add new features continuously to that same software. And next principle is allows customers to change requirements even late in development. For example, first time I said only I want student login form. This time I said that I want both student login form and as well as faculty login form. So this agile model allows customers to change requirements. And the third principle is deliver working software frequently within a short period of time, that is from couple of weeks to couple of months. Guys, within short period of time, that is maximum within 2 to 4 weeks we need to deliver software. And fourth principle is business people, developers and testers must work togetherly daily throughout the project. So these people must communicate each other daily so they can deliver software within very short time. The agile principle is about to having faith in your team and helping them to do their best work. It's like giving them tools and encouraging them to success instead of continuously watching over their shoulders. Guys, in this agile model, productive manager will not force employees. He will give freedom to work. So that is why developers and testers can easily work and they can complete software within time. And sixth principle is face-to-face conversation with your team. All employees like business people, developers, testers, they will conduct face-to-face meetings. And seventh principle is working software is the primary measure. They must deliver working software. And eighth feature is agile process promote sustainable development. That is nothing but continuous development. And ninth one is technical excellence. Development team must work continuously and they must deliver high quality software and the software must reach customer expectations. 10th one is simplicity. Simplicity is nothing but they must focus only on important tasks and they must avoid unnecessary work so they can achieve their goals faster. And 11th one is self-organizing team. Here in agile model, manager will not guide you. Team members must communicate each other and they must complete their work. And last 12th principle is adjustments. Immediately whenever customer give any changes, immediately company must adjust their plan based on that particular information. For example, immediately customer said that he want to add staff information in that particular page. Immediately company must perform that work. These are 12 principles in Agile Manifesto. These are 12 principles in Agile Manifesto. Yes, all these principles are advantages. And these are disadvantages in Agile model. First disadvantage is less documentation. Whereas if you consider waterfall model, they will do complete documentation. But whereas in agile model, documentation is very less. And next disadvantage is team must be knowledgeable. Whenever customer give any new feature, then team must immediately update that new feature in that existing software. So if team members don't have any knowledge, it is impossible to develop software. And next disadvantage is the project can easily get taken off track if customer is not satisfied. After developing complete software, if customer is not satisfied, then they need to start work from the beginning because customer satisfaction is highest priority in agile model. So if customer don't like their software, company will simply throw out their software. Next I will explain what is scrum methodology and kanban methodology. And also I will explain difference between scrum methodology and kanban methodology. Guys, we can implement agile process by using 4 methodologies. They are: first one is extreme programming, shortly we call it as XP. Second one is future driven development, shortly we call it as FDD. Third one is kanban, and fourth one is scrum. Normally by using these 4 methodologies we can implement agile process, but mainly most of the software companies use only these 2 methodologies. They are kanban and scrum methodologies. So in this video I will explain what is kanban methodology and scrum methodology. At first I will explain what is scrum methodology. Agile is basically a process model, whereas scrum is a kind of framework through which we will develop, test and release software. Guys, as we know, agile is nothing but agile is a process. Process is nothing but sequence of steps that we need to follow in order to develop any software. Whereas framework will provide you guidance and tools in order to complete process. In simple terms, agile process will say you what to do, whereas scrum framework will tell you how to do it. So agile process will say you what to do, and whereas scrum framework will say you how to do it. So agile contains principles. That principles will tell you how process must be. And whereas scrum is a framework that follows agile principles. As we know, these are various steps in agile process. So agile process will tell you by following these steps we can develop any particular software. But how to complete this process? That is, how to plan, how to design, how to develop, how to test, what are tools and techniques that we need to use. All this guidance will be provided by Scrum framework. So Scrum is a framework through which we will build software product by following agile principles. This Scrum framework will follow agile principles. Guys, before explaining this Scrum topic, you need to know what is epic and what is story. Guys, for example, I am college owner. I'll go to software company and then I will tell product manager, I want one college software. This is considered as epic. So epic is a description of what client wants, or you can also say it as what client needs. I just said that I want college software, but I did not say that how college software must be. So I'm not telling any functionalities. Just I said that I want college software. So epic is a description of what client wants or client needs with less functionalities or no functionality details. It will not provide any functionalities. So epic is nothing but epic is a big work. So this big work can be divided into smaller user stories. Each story will describe one feature. So story is nothing but, so user stories are simple and short descriptions of a feature told by customers or users for his product. For example, I am user or customer. I said that I want college website. So this college website is considered as epic. And again I said that in that college website I want student login form, faculty login form, student attendance, faculty attendance, student marks, student results and so on. Student login form is one feature, faculty login is one feature, student attendance is one feature, faculty attendance is one feature, faculty details is one feature and so on. So each feature is considered story. So epic is a big work and this big work can be divided into smaller stories. So basically we consider each feature as one story. So now you know what is epic and what is story. Guys, in software companies they don't call description or features. They will call epic and stories. So that is why you need to remember these terminologies. For example, software company want to develop one software by using Scrum methodology. So that Scrum team must contain these employees. They are product owner, Scrum master, software developers and software testers. So approximately this team contains 5 to 9 members. This is complete Scrum team. Now I will explain what is role of this product owner, Scrum master, developers and testers in detail. At first I will explain what is role of this product owner. Product owner is the person who always contact to customer and collect the features of the product from customer, and he will arrange all those features based on priority or importance. And finally he will accept or reject work results. If customer is satisfied with product, then product owner will accept work done. If customer is not satisfied, then he will reject work done by developers and testers. Guys, in Scrum team, what product owner will do is, product owner will meet customers. For example, I am college owner, I want college software. So this product owner will come to me and then he will collect features of my product. For example, in the software I said that I want student login form, employee login form, student attendance and so on. So student login form is considered as one feature, employee login form is considered as another feature, student marks is considered as another feature, employee attendance and student attendance is considered as another feature. So product owner, after collecting all features from customers, he will arrange all features based on priority or based on importance. For example, if you consider college software, in that college software, student login is one of the important feature. So after student login, faculty login is another important feature. So he will arrange all features based on priority. Guys, we call these features as stories. So stories which has highest priority is arranged at first, and stories which has least priority is arranged at last. And this product owner will place all these features in this product backlog. So product backlog contains list of user stories prepared by product owner. So this is role and responsibility of product owner. Product owner will interact with customers and then he will collect the features of particular software and he will arrange all those features in product backlog based on priority. So we call these features as stories. Next section, what is role of Scrum Master? Guys, the main role of Scrum Master is to handle entire agile process. He will take care of entire process from starting to till delivery of the project. He will completely look at how development of software is going on and he will establish team communication and remove blockers. And all meetings are organized by Scrum Master. Scrum Master will conduct daily meetings. Either it can be offline meeting or online meeting. In the Scrum meeting, he will join all employees like developers, testers, and then he will ask employees that what you did yesterday and what you will do today. By conducting daily meetings, Scrum Master can easily identify how work is going on and he can easily track how team is working. He can handle entire agile process by conducting daily meetings. And third type of employees are developers. As we know, developers will write code. And fourth one is QA team. That is nothing but testing team. Testing team will test code which is written by developers. These are four types of employees involved in Scrum team. Guys, now I will explain how entire Scrum process will work. Guys, we can also call customers as users or stakeholders. Product owner will collect features of the product from customers and then he will place that features or stories in product backlog based on priority. And from product backlog, stories which has highest priority is placed in sprint backlog for development. For example, if you consider college software, in that college software, student login has highest priority, for example. So product owner will place that story in sprint backlog. Whenever product owner places the story in sprint backlog, developer will start developing code for that particular story. Guys, normally there are 5 to 10 employees involved in Scrum team. As I already said before, in this development process, there will be Scrum Master. What he will do is, he will conduct meetings on daily basis. Every day he will conduct meetings. We call that meeting as daily Scrum meeting. In the Scrum meeting, all team members are involved, including developers and testers. And the Scrum Master will ask the team members that what you did yesterday and what you will do today. And also he can easily understand how development process is going on. Guys, normally in order to develop one user story, it will take approximately 1 to 4 weeks of time. And we call this time as sprint. So time taken to complete each story is known as sprint. For example, initially for college software, at first they need to design student login form. So student login form is considered as one story. And time given to complete this user story is approximately 1 to 4 weeks. So we call it as one sprint. So immediately after completion of each sprint, they will conduct a sprint retrospective meeting. Sprint retrospective meeting is nothing but meeting which is conducted after completion of each sprint. In this retrospective meeting, all team members are involved, including product owner. In this meeting, they will discuss what went wrong and what went correct. Is there any improvement further? How to improve future? They will discuss all these topics in this meeting. And after that, they will conduct a sprint review. They will show that particular story to user. If customer likes that story, Scrum Master will accept. If customer don't like that story, simply Scrum Master will reject work done by developers and testers. So again they need to start that story from first. So again after user accepting this, again they will take new story and they will keep on updating the same software. So in Scrum method, initially they will develop software with very basic features and then they will keep on updating the same software with new features. So this Scrum method will follow agile process. Guys, these are new terminologies that we used in this Scrum method. They are epic, story, product backlog. Product backlog contain user stories. And next is sprint. Sprint is nothing but time taken to complete each user story is known as sprint. User stories which has highest priority is placed in sprint backlog for development. And next is Scrum meeting. Scrum meeting is conducted by Scrum Master every day and he will ask what you did yesterday and what you will do today. And next terminology is sprint retrospective meeting. After completion of each sprint, they will conduct a sprint retrospective meeting. In that meeting, all members are involved, including Scrum Master and product owner. In that meeting, they will discuss what went wrong, what went well, and any improvements further in upcoming sprint. They will discuss everything. This is all about Scrum methodology. Next section, what is Kanban methodology? Kanban is also one of the methodology that follow agile process. Kanban framework is also based on one of the philosophy that is continuous improvement. That is, we need to develop software with very basic features and then we need to keep on updating the same software with new features. So this Kanban framework is based on the philosophy that is continuous improvement, where work items are pulled from a product backlog into a steady flow of work. Guys, this is how Kanban methodology will work. Initially in Kanban methodology, complete work is divided in the form of cards. This Kanban board contains 3 columns. They are to do, doing and done. Initially some cards are taken and then they are placed in to do column. That is, work is not yet started. Software developers must pick these cards and then they must write code. Whenever software developers are writing code for that particular card, they are in doing state. After completely development and testing, cards are placed in done stage. So Kanban board contains 3 stages. They are to do stage, doing stage and done stage. As entire work of software is divided in the form of cards, only some cards are placed in to do stage. They will not place complete cards in to do stage. Initially they will pick only few cards. In many of the companies, limited card number is only 3. Initially they will take first 3 cards and then they will complete work. And again after that they will take another cards. This is how they complete project by using Kanban methodology. So this Kanban methodology is one of the popular methodology after Scrum methodology. Kanban board is a form of visual project management. In a Kanban board, tasks are represented as cards and move through stages of work represented as columns. Each stage is represented as columns. This Kanban method was developed by Taichi Ono. He is a Toyota engineer from Japan. He developed this method in late 1940s in order to improve Toyota production system. Basically, Toyota is car company. These are some of the principles in Kanban methodology. And the first one is visualize the work. As Kanban board is visual representation, by seeing Kanban board, we can easily understand how much work is done. And next principle is limited work in progress. As I already said before, they will place only few cards on Kanban board. They will place only few cards on Kanban board. And third principle is manage workflow. Main focus is continuously flow of work. That is, initially they will take some cards and then they will perform development and testing, and immediately after that they will take another cards and they will perform development and testing. So this process flow on. And fourth principle is implement feedback loops. In this team will conduct feedbacks, they will identify issues and solve a problem. And last principle is improvement. Initially they need to develop software with very basic features and then they need to keep on updating same software with new features. Okay, these are differences between Scrum and Kanban. In Scrum, work is divided in the form of sprint, whereas in Kanban, work is visualized on Kanban board. In Scrum, how to complete software. This planning is done before each sprint, and for each sprint there is fixed time, that is 1 to 4 weeks. And whereas in Kanban there is no fixed time. For example, one card is completed in 1 day. Immediately they need to take next card and they need to keep on working. And third one is, in Scrum there is product backlog. In this product backlog, all user stories are arranged based on priority. Whereas in Kanban, there is no fixed backlog. Whenever Kanban board is free, items are taken from product backlog and then they are placed on Kanban board. In Scrum, daily meetings are conducted by Scrum Master. But whereas in Kanban, there are rare meetings. Only if team needs, they will conduct meetings. Scrum contains cross-functional team. Cross-functional team is nothing but there are different teams involved to develop project like testing team, development team, product manager, Scrum Master and so on. Whereas in Kanban, roles are not fixed. Team members must change roles based on project. So Scrum contains product manager, Scrum Master and development and testing team. And whereas in Kanban, there are no proper roles because roles keep on changing based on project. These are differences between Scrum and Kanban. Next I will explain what is DevOps and then I will explain DevOps lifecycle, best practices and principles of DevOps, difference between agile and DevOps. At first I will explain what is DevOps. Guys, before explaining what is DevOps, you need to know what is server. Guys, each and every software company maintains servers. In simple terms, server is 24/7 running system. Or you can also say server is big and powerful computer that works 24/7. Software companies will store and manage websites and applications by using server. Guys, I will give one real-time example so that you can clearly understand what is use of server. For example, if you consider Amazon website, anytime whenever you open Amazon website, you can access this website because this Amazon website is stored in server and this server is managed by Amazon company. For example, there is problem in this Amazon server, so you cannot access Amazon website. That is why servers must work 24/7. Even if server don't work for 1 minute, there is millions of loss for companies. For example, if you consider this Amazon website, every minute millions of people are using this website. So even if server don't work for 1 minute, there is huge amount of loss for companies. So server is big and powerful computer that stores and manages websites and applications. Now I will explain what is DevOps. Guys, DevOps stands for development plus operations, where DEV stands for development and OPS stands for operations. So DevOps is a combination of software development and operations. Guys, the main duty of this development team is they will develop and test a software application. After developing application, this operations team will place that application in one server. So placing software application in server is known as deployment. So software development team will develop application and test application, and whereas operations team will place that application in one server. So DevOps is a combination of software development and operations. So DevOps is a software development process which aims to integrate the work of development team and operations team by facilitating a culture of collaboration and sharing responsibility. Guys, DevOps is a software development process. Software development process is nothing but sequence of steps that we need to follow in order to develop any application or software. This DevOps will integrate work of development team and operations team. Guys, in DevOps, both the development team and operations team, they will interact with each other and they will complete work. They both communicate each other and they will share responsibility to develop and deploy software. So DevOps is a software development process which aim to integrate the work of development team and operations team by facilitating a culture of collaboration, that is they will collaborate each other and share responsibilities. First I will explain what is software development. Shortly we call it as DEV. Developers will write code and they will create wonderful applications. This is known as software development. Next I will explain what is role of operations team. Employees in the operations team are like the protectors of the digital world. That is, they will take care of deployment, managing and keeping application running smoothly in real world. This operations team will deploy. Deploy is nothing but placing our application in one server is known as deployment. Whenever operations team places software in particular server, users can access that application. Even after making application available to users, that is, even after placing application in server, operations team must provide security to that application and they need to manage that application. So that application will run smoothly in internet. Guys, digital world is nothing but internet. So main duty of operations team is they need to place application in server and also they have responsibility to make application running in internet smoothly. So in DevOps, development team and operations team works together in order to create, build and deliver application. So DevOps mean people working together to create, build and deliver software quickly and securely. It's all about making the process faster and better by using automation, teamwork, quick feedback and learning from mistakes. In DevOps, in order to create application, in order to build application and in order to deploy application, DevOps team will use various automation tools so they can complete work faster and better. DevOps is also based on agile approach. That means DevOps and agile has only one goal, that is they need to improve software development process. That is they need to deliver software quickly and efficiently and that software must reach customer expectation. By using agile process they can improve software development, and whereas DevOps is collaboration between development team and operations team in order to improve software development process. Guys, next I will explain DevOps life cycle. Guys, this is complete DevOps life cycle. These are various stages. First one is plan, next one is code, build, test, release, deploy, operate, monitor, and again plan, release, code, build, test. This loop will continue. Initially for basic version of software, they will perform all these operations. Again for new version, they will perform same thing. So this will work like a loop. Guys, in this DevOps life cycle, all these stages are classified into two parts. They are development and operations. I will explain all these stages one by one in detail. In DevOps life cycle, first stage is plan. This plan stage comes under development. Guys, for example, I am college owner. I want to design one college software. So in software company, I will meet project manager and I will discuss about my software. Guys, for example, I said that my college software must contain student login form, faculty login form, student details, faculty details, student attendance, faculty attendance and so on. So all these are considered as features. So project manager will note down all my features and then he will plan development process. In this, developers, project managers and all employees, they will collaborate each other and they will design goals and scope of the project. In DevOps for this planning phase, they will use Jira tool. Guys, this is real-time example of planning stage. Guys, for example, I said that I want college software. So it is considered as Epic. And in that college software, I said I want student login form, employee login form, and faculty attendance, student attendance and so on. So all these are considered as user stories. Student login form is one story, employee login form is one story, student attendance is one story and so on. All these are considered as user stories. So in Jira tool, project manager will create epics and stories. And then project manager will assign tasks to various developers using Jira tool, and also you will track how work is going on this Jira tool. This is all about plan stage. Next one is code stage. As we know, this code stage also belongs to development. Based on features given by customers, developer will start writing code. For example, if developer is creating Java application, he will write Java code. Similarly, for Python application, he will write Python code. And if he is creating website, he will write HTML code. Like that, based on application, he will write different kinds of code. Guys, in software companies, only single developer will not write entire code. I will give an example. For example, software company is creating college website. Only one developer will not write entire code for this college website. There are various developers involved. For example, one developer is creating student login form for this college website. Next developer is creating faculty login form. Next developer is creating student attendance form. And next developer is creating faculty details form. Guys, all these developers will install Git software in their computers. For example, this developer will install Git in his computer. Similarly, all developers will install Git in their computer. Git is nothing but Git is a software. That software will work based on commands. So Git is a software that works based on commands. So whenever developer writes any code, he will store that code in Git software. So in developer's computer, he will store that code in Git software. Similarly, he will develop code and he will store in Git software. Like that, all developers will develop code and they will store that code in Git. For example, this employee want to see code written by this employee. And similarly, this employee want to see code written by this employee. So they cannot see directly. So directly he cannot access this system. That is why they will use GitHub. Guys, this GitHub is nothing but it is a website. After developer writing entire code, he will store that code in Git. From that Git software, by writing some small line of command, they can store that code in GitHub. So GitHub will store Git repositories. Git repository is nothing but in which place our code is present in Git software, we call it as Git repository. So GitHub is a website that will store these Git repositories in cloud. So all remaining developers can see code which is written by this developer. Similarly, this developer developed faculty login form. So immediately from this Git, he will store that code in GitHub. Similarly, these both developers developed student attendance form and student details form. They both will paste that code in this GitHub. So whenever they place code in GitHub, all remaining developers in project can access this code. Guys, this Git and GitHub both are connected to each other. Whenever this developer modify any code in this Git, automatically by writing small line of command in Git, we can push these changes to GitHub. Guys, we can keep on updating code in Git. So Git is a version control system, that is, it is a software that works based on commands. Guys, in Git, for each and every operation, you need to write commands. Whereas GitHub is a web-based platform, that is, it is a website and it will provide service, that is, it will host Git repositories in cloud. Guys, in GitHub, there is no need of writing any commands. It is graphical user interface. So GitHub is a place where our code is stored and all remaining developers in our project can access that code. This makes developers easy to manage projects. Guys, whenever any developer made any changes in code, who made changes and when he made changes, that is seen in GitHub. So in DevOps code stage, these are tools that we use. One is Git, next one is GitHub and next one is GitLab. Guys, GitHub and GitLab both are same, but they are developed by different companies. Next one is build stage. This build stage also belongs to development. Developers compile source code into executable binaries or artifacts that can be deployed and run. Continuous integration tools automate this process, that code changes are constantly built and tested. For example, software company is designing college website. Initially nothing is developed. Guys, for example, this developer returns student login form code. After successfully completion of entire code, he will place that code in GitHub. Immediately whenever developer places code in GitHub, automatically that code is compiled and tested. If there are no errors, then executable file is generated. Okay, this executable file is nothing but we call this executable file as artifacts. That is nothing but code which is under working condition. So from this GitHub, code is automatically compiled and tested and then artifact is created. This process is known as build stage. And this entire process will take place by using automation tools. So whenever developer push new code into GitHub, automatically that code is compiled and tested. For example, this code is successfully executed and tested and artifact is generated, then automatically that code is sent to server. For example, this faculty login form is also automatically tested and if everything is working well, then automatically that code is deployed into server, and this faculty login form is also seen in website. And this build process is done by using various automation tools like Jenkins, Circle CI and Travis CI. Guys, mainly we will use this Jenkins. Developers compile source code into executable binaries or artifacts that can be deployed and run. They will run in server. Continuous integration tool automates this process. This process is continuously automated by using continuous integration tools. Whenever developer add any new code, that is continuously built and tested. So example is Jenkins tool. Jenkins is set up to automate the build process. Whenever developers push code changes to GitHub repository, whenever developer make any changes in GitHub, Jenkins automatically get that notification. Then Jenkins will automatically compile that code and test that code, and that will create artifacts or packages for deployment. And fourth one is test stage. As we know, software testers will perform testing. This testing stage also comes under development, but operations team also involved in this testing, because even after successfully placing our software in server by operations team, that is still after software is available to users, there is chance for bugs and errors even after releasing our software. So testing is primarily development activity, but operations team also involved in this testing. In DevOps testing stage, there are so many types of tools available in order to perform unit test, integration test and so on. So these are some of the famous tools in order to perform testing in DevOps. They are JUnit, Selenium and Postman. By using these kinds of tools, they can perform unit test and integration test. And next, sixth one is release stage. Once after successfully completion of testing, if software is working well, development team will contact to operations team, and this development team will handle that software to operations team. Then operations team will handle tasks like configuring server and deploying application. Guys, normally in release stage, they will deploy application in dummy server. If everything is working correct, then they will deploy that application in actual server. So one of the famous tool is Ansible. By using Ansible tool, we can deploy application in server. And sixth one is deployment stage. In release phase, if everything is working in dummy server, then they will place application in actual server, that is production server. And this deployment is handled by operations team. Operation teams are responsible for deploying the application to production server or cloud. They ensure the deployment process is smooth, minimize downtime, and follow best practices for reliability and scalability. This operations team is completely responsible to complete this work smoothly. At the same time, they will provide security to that application. So these are famous tools for deployment. One is Docker and next one is Kubernetes. Normally many of the companies use Kubernetes. Guys, what Docker will do is, Docker will create Docker image and then it will save that image in Docker container. After successfully placing Docker image in container, guys, this Kubernetes is present in production server. So this containerized application is stored in Kubernetes. And seventh one is operate stage. Operate stage is also handled by operation team. In the team, they will check application performance. That is whether application is working correctly or not. Grafana is one of the famous tool in order to monitor application performance. And last one is monitor stage. This monitoring stage is also handled by operations team. In this operations team use various kinds of monitoring tools like Nagios. In that they can easily identify that how much memory that software is consuming and also how much CPU power it is consuming and within how much time that software is giving response, how much error rate. All this can be monitored by using monitoring tools like Nagios. Guys, this is all about DevOps lifecycle. Guys, if you see this diagram is like a loop. That is nothing but it is continuous process. For each and every new update in that software, all this process is automated by using various kinds of tools. This is entire process how development team and operations team communicate each other. Guys, plan, code, build, test and release belongs to development, and deploy, operate and monitor belongs to operations team. Next, I will explain best practices and principles of DevOps in order to improve collaboration and efficiency in IT operations. And the first principle is automation. In DevOps, instead of building and testing software manually, they will use automation tools in order to perform repetitive tasks. If they use automation tools, work will complete very faster and it will reduce mistakes. Second one is collaboration and communication. In DevOps, all employees will communicate each other and they will complete work smoothly. Third one is continuous improvement and minimizing waste. DevOps team always want to make things better. So DevOps team will use automation tools for repetitive tasks and their focus is to release software very quickly. If any problem occurs in middle, they can solve errors very fast by using automation. Fourth one is hyper focus on user needs with short feedback loops. Guys, DevOps team always focus on what user wants. Whenever user want any changes in software, by using automation, DevOps team will complete that changes in software and they will satisfy users. Fifth one is infrastructure as a code. Shortly we call it as IAC. In order to place any software in server, at first they need to configure that server. So they will use some automation tools in order to configure server instead of doing it manually. So instead of setting up servers and other infrastructure manually, they will use some automation tools in order to configure server. So work will complete very faster. Sixth one is continuous integration. Whenever developer perform any changes in code in order to update software, then that code is automatically tested and that update is automatically integrated to existing software. So whenever someone make a change to the code, put it in a shared place right away. That is nothing but they will place that code in Git repository. This makes sure that everyone's changes are tested together, which helps find and fix problems earlier. Whenever any developer make any change, that code is tested, and if any problem occur, then it is easy to identify that problem. And seventh one is continuous delivery. Once if software testing is successful, then that software is placed in production server. Then users can access the software and even they will perform this operation by using automation tools. Eighth one is security by design. As we know, many hackers are involved. So providing security to software is very important. So even here they will use automation tools in order to provide security. Ninth one is scalability and resilience. Whenever we create any software by using DevOps, that particular software will be used by many of the users. So even if many people use our software, that software must not stop unexpectedly. So building software is like building bridge. In same way how bridge will handle heavy traffic, our software must handle many users. Even if many users use our software, it should not break. Still it must keep on working. 10th one is monitoring and logging. Even after placing our software in server, daily we need to monitor that application. Like we need to check whether software is working correctly or not. Like whenever something goes wrong, automatically software must give us alert messages. And also we need to monitor how software is consuming memory and CPU power. If there are any errors in software, whether it is accessible to all users, we need to monitor each and everything. By using Grafana and Nagios tools, we can monitor. In DevOps, by using tools like Nagios and Grafana, we can monitor our application. These are various principles and practices in DevOps. Next, I will explain difference between Agile and DevOps. Guys, both Agile and DevOps are software development process. That is nothing but sequence of steps they will follow in order to deliver software. And they both have same goal, that is, they need to deliver software quickly and efficiently within short period of time that must reach customer expectations. But major difference between Agile and DevOps is, this Agile is a process that contains principles. Principles are nothing but rules that we need to follow in order to develop software. But whereas DevOps is all about continuous deployment of software. In DevOps, they will use various automation tools in order to deliver software quickly. So DevOps mean how development team and operations team communicate each other in order to deliver software quickly. These are some of the differences between Agile and DevOps. Agile was introduced in 2001, whereas DevOps in 2008. In Agile, customer will give feedback, whereas in DevOps, internal team will give feedback. In Agile, developing software has highest priority, whereas in DevOps, developing, testing and implementation all are equally important. Agile will not focus on automation, whereas in DevOps, they will complete entire work by using automation tools. In Agile, they will focus on constant changes. That is, what are the updates given by customers, and based on that, how to change existing software. They will focus on that. Whereas in DevOps, they will focus on constant testing and delivery. Agile refers to a continuous iterative approach which focus on collaboration, customer feedback, and small and repeat releases. Agile is continuously iterative process. That is, in Agile, they need to update same software again and again, and all employees will collaborate each other by conducting daily meetings. They will take regular feedbacks from customers, and immediately they will release updated version of software. Whereas in DevOps, development team and operations team will communicate each other in order to develop software. In Agile, they will complete work in the form of sprints. Sprint is nothing but time given in order to develop each feature. Approximately 2 to 4 weeks of time is given in order to complete each sprint. Whereas in DevOps, they will deliver code to production team on daily basis. Immediately whenever new code is written, that is automatically tested and released to production team. Agile will use very small team, that is approximately 9 to 10 members. And whereas entire company will follow DevOps. So DevOps is company-wide strategy. These are differences between Agile and DevOps. Next I will explain continuous integration continuous delivery, and continuous deployment in DevOps. And also I will explain common bottlenecks in DevOps CI/CD process and how to overcome them. At first I will explain what is continuous integration. Shortly we call it as CI process. So whenever developer write any code or modify any code, then they will check in that code into source repository. That is nothing but whenever developer write any code or modify any code, then he will place that code into Git software. And by writing small lines of commands in Git software, they will transfer that code from Git to GitHub. GitHub is nothing but it is a website. So whenever developer add or modify any new code into GitHub, then that code is automatically sent to CI server. Jenkins software is example of CI server. Then the CI server will perform build and test operations on that code. For example, I am developer. I place a new code in GitHub. So whenever I place code in GitHub, automatically Jenkins will get alert message. In Jenkins, by using tool like Maven, they will perform build operations. That is nothing but they will compile and execute my code. So Maven tool will perform build operation. That is nothing but this Maven tool will compile and execute my code. After successfully compiling and executing my code, then this Jenkins will perform test operation. Guys, basically we will perform two kinds of test. One is unit test and next one is integration test. By using tool like JUnit, we can perform unit test, and whereas by using tool like Selenium, we can perform integration test. So if build and test is successful on my code, then artifact is generated. Guys, artifact is nothing but working software. It is collection of packages. The file which is working is known as artifact. So after successfully building and testing my code, then artifact is generated. For example, if we get any failure in build and test operations, automatically that notification is sent to developer. So again developer need to modify that code and he need to perform same operation again. This is all about continuous integration process. So whenever developer places code in GitHub, automatically Jenkins will get that message, and whereas in Jenkins, by using tool like Maven, we can perform build operation. Build is nothing but compiling and executing. After successfully compiling and executing, by using tool like JUnit, we can perform unit test, and whereas by using tool like Selenium, we can perform integration test. After both build and test operations are successful, then artifact is generated. For example, if there is any failure in build and test operations, that notification is sent back to these developers. Again, developer need to modify that code and he need to perform same operation again. This is continuous integration process. Guys, this is example how continuous integration process will work. Developer writes code and push it into a version control system like Git. Jenkins then monitors these repositories for changes. Guys, repositories are nothing but place where our code is present. We call that place as repository. So Jenkins will identify that whether any changes occurs in our code. Whenever changes are detected, then Jenkins will pull that code. Jenkins will take that code. Typically using a build tools like Maven or Gradle, they will build a project. By using tools like Maven or Gradle, we can perform build operation. After building, Jenkins may run unit test using tools like JUnit and integration test using tools like Selenium. The results of the tests are typically reported back to Jenkins, whether the test is successful or failure. That is sent back to Jenkins. If build is successful, Jenkins may proceed to package the application into an artifact. Our application which is under working condition is known as artifact. Generally, artifact is a file which is under working condition. Whether that file can be jar file or var file, or it can also be a Docker image. This is all about continuous integration process. Next I will explain what is continuous delivery process. Jenkins, after successfully creating artifact, we need to place that artifact in one duplicate server to check whether software is working smoothly or not. This is known as continuous delivery process. Shortly we call it as CD process. So continuous delivery is nothing but placing our software in one dummy server in order to check whether application is working correctly or not. So developers, after writing code, check-in is nothing but after writing code, they will place that code in GitHub. From that GitHub, continuous integration test is performed. If it is successful, then artifact is generated. That artifact is placed in one mock server. Mock server is nothing but dummy server. Guys, before placing our software into one dummy server, at first we need to configure that server. And that configuration is done by using tool like Ansible. By using Ansible, we can configure our server. So in continuous delivery, the packed application is automatically prepared for release to production. They will not release. They will just prepare application in order to release to production.
This can involve tasks like further testing, environment configuration, and final validation before deployment. So after placing application in dummy server, they will perform further tests like whether application is working smoothly or not after placing it into server, whether there are any errors, and it is considered as final validation before deployment. Before actually placing application into original server, this is final verification. If everything goes well here, then they will place that application into actual server. So in continuous delivery process, in order to configure server, we need to use tool like Ansible. Guys, from placing code to GitHub, continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. All this is automated by using various kinds of tools. Human beings will not perform all these tasks manually. All these tasks are automatically performed by using various kinds of tools. So this is example. In continuous delivery, Ansible will automatically configure server based on our application. Once everything is validated on sample server, the application is then ready for release to actual production server. So if we perform this operation on sample server, we will not face any problem on production server. This is all about continuous delivery. Next I will explain what is continuous deployment. Guys, CD stands for continuous delivery and continuous deployment. Continuous delivery is nothing but placing our application in sample server, whereas continuous deployment is nothing but placing our application into actual production server. If we place our application into actual production server, all users can access that application. For example, if you consider Amazon application, we all can access Amazon application because that application is present in production server. So whenever we place any application in production server, all users can access that application. As I already said before, this continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment. All these operations are performed automatically by system itself. Human beings will not involve. So in continuous deployment, every successful build automatically goes into production without human intervention. Guys, production server is nothing but Kubernetes. We will place our application in Kubernetes, where this Kubernetes is production server. So deployment is nothing but placing our application into production server like Kubernetes. So tools like Kubernetes is used for automatically deploying and managing application into production server. So basically this Kubernetes software is present in our production server. So we will place our application in Kubernetes. So this is example. After Jenkins build and package the application, Kubernetes is used to automatically deploy the Docker image into production environment. Guys, we will not place our application directly into Kubernetes. Instead, what we will do is, by using software like Docker, we will convert our application into Docker image. And then we will place our application into Docker container. Then we will place that containerized application into Kubernetes. This is example. Developers will place code into GitHub. After placing code into GitHub, automatically continuous integration will take place. After that, continuous delivery will take place. And at last, continuous deployment will take place. That is nothing but placing our application into actual production server. Guys, this is complete CI/CD pipeline. So developers, after developing code, they will place that code into GitHub. After that, build and test is performed by using Jenkins. Then artifact is generated. Then Ansible will perform configuration on our server. So by using Docker application, we will create Docker image. We will place the Docker image in Docker container. After that, we will place our application in dummy server. If everything goes well, we will place that application in production server. Guys, this is complete CI/CD process pipeline. Next, I will explain common bottlenecks in DevOps CI/CD process and how to overcome them. And the first one is limited automation. Guys, if you perform continuous integration and continuous deployment manually by human beings, then it will take a lot of time. That is why in DevOps CI/CD process, we will completely use various automation tools in order to perform all these operations automatically. Second one is slow feedback loops. Guys, whenever any person gives us project, then immediately we need to develop that project and we need to release that project. So if we release application immediately, then user can easily identify and then he may give some changes. So waiting too long for feedback can delay development process. So solution is to optimize test and build process to run faster. So if we develop application very fast, then immediately we will get feedbacks from users. Third one is complex configuration management. Guys, manually configuring server is very tough. So in DevOps, we will use tool like Ansible in order to automatically configure our server. So it will save our time. And fourth one is poor collaboration. Guys, in DevOps, development team and operations team, They both must collaborate each other and complete work. So for this they can conduct daily meetings and they can interact each other. Fifth one is inadequate monitoring and logging. Guys, even after placing our application in server, we need to check that whether application is working smoothly or not. So in DevOps for monitoring and logging, we can use tools like Prometheus for monitoring and whereas ELK stack for logging. And last one is manual release process. Guys, if we release our application manually without using any automation tools, it will consume lot of time and there is high chance for errors. So in order to automate release process, that is in order to perform continuous integration and continuous deployment, we need to use tools like Jenkins, Ansible, Kubernetes, etc. So that within short period of time we can release our software, that too with no errors or very few errors.
Next I will explain role of automation in DevOps, examples of popular automation tools, what are artifacts and what is artifact repository, and also I will explain monitoring and feedback stage in DevOps. Guys, role of automation in DevOps is nothing but we will automate repetitive tasks. For example, whenever developer writes any new code, that code is automatically compiled and executed, and then that code is tested, and if everything is working well, that code is automatically placed in server. Here in DevOps, all this work is automated by using various kinds of tools. So the role of automation in DevOps is to automate repetitive tasks, improve efficiency and ensure consistency through the software development lifecycle. Here by using automation, we will achieve efficiency and consistency. Efficiency is nothing but complete work is done by various kinds of automation tools. So we will complete work in very short time. So we will achieve efficiency. And consistency means correctness. As complete work is done by various kinds of automation tools, there is less chance for errors. So complete work will be correct. This is meaning of consistency. So by using various kinds of automation tools, we will achieve efficiency and consistency. These are various kinds of automation tools in DevOps. First one is Jenkins. Whenever developer writes any new code, that code is automatically built. Build is nothing but compiling and executing. So building, testing and deployment. Complete work is automated by using Jenkins software. And whereas by using tool like Maven, we will perform automate build process for Java based projects. Whereas this JUnit and Selenium are testing tools, we will perform testing. Whereas by using JUnit we will perform unit test, and whereas by using Selenium we will perform integration test. And whereas by using tool like Ansible, we will configure our server. Before actually placing application in our server, at first we need to configure our server. So that work is done by Ansible. And whereas by using Docker, we can create Docker image. And then we can place the Docker image in Docker container. Guys, we will not place our application directly in server. At first what we will do is, we will convert our application into Docker image. And then we will place that application in Docker container. And then we will place that containerized application in server. So by using Docker tool, we can create Docker image and we can place that image in Docker container. Guys, whereas Kubernetes is software and the software is present in server. So after creating Docker image and placing the Docker image in Docker container, we will place that containerized application in Kubernetes. So we will place our containerized application in Kubernetes. And whereas GitLab and GitHub are websites, whenever developer write any code, he will place that code in GitHub website. So whenever developer places code in GitHub, then continuous integration and continuous deployment takes place. And whereas this Chef is infrastructure configuration and management tool. That is nothing but we can configure softwares, databases, storage devices, servers, etc. And whereas this Puppet tool is IT infrastructure management tool, and whereas Terraform is cloud infrastructure management tool. These are various tools that we use in DevOps. Next I will explain what is artifact. Guys, artifact is nothing but executable file. For example, I am developer. I written code. Whenever I write this code and I place that code in GitHub, that code is automatically built and tested. Build is nothing but compiling and executing. If compiling and executing is successful, then that code is tested, and if the testing is successful, then artifact is generated. Artifact is nothing but our working software, and this artifact is a file. This can be any file like var file or rar file or any other file, and we will store this artifact in one location. We call that location as repository. So artifact repository is nothing but where our artifacts are stored. We call that location as artifact repository. There are two types of artifact repositories. They are JFrog and Docker. So in DevOps, Artifact refers to the output or result of the software build process. These artifacts can include compile code, executable file, documentation or any other files generated during build process. After successfully completing build process, artifacts will be generated. Either that artifact can be any file, either var file or rar file or any other file. And these artifacts are created as a part of CI/CD pipeline and used for deploymenting and releasing software. These artifacts are created in continuous integration and continuous deployment process. And next one is artifact repository. Guys, this artifact repository is also known as binary repository, or we can also call it as artifact management system. It is a centralized location where these artifacts are stored and managed. We will store all our artifacts in one location. We call that location as artifact repository. So it serves as a secure and reliable storage solution for storing and versioning artifacts through the software development lifecycle. Not only we will store artifacts, we will also provide security to that artifact. So no hackers can hack that artifact. So not only we will store artifact, but also we will provide security. So no hacker can hack that artifact. Normally there are two popular artifact repositories in DevOps. They are JFrog Artifactory and next one is Docker. Next I will explain monitoring and feedback stage in DevOps. Guys, monitoring and feedback stage is one of the important stage in software development process because we can track our software performance. Guys, whenever we develop any software, still there is chance for errors. Software will not work correctly all the time. For example, I developed one software. The software may work in one system or that software may not work in another system. For example, one user can access the software and whereas another user cannot access the software. Even after deployment, we need to monitor our software to check whether the software is working correctly or not. So by using various kinds of monitoring tools and logging tools, we can track system performance, user behavior and also system behavior. That is whether software is giving correct response to users or not. And by using alert systems, we can quickly identify and fix issues. For example, if software is not working properly or consuming lot of memory or system is working slow, if any such issues occur, automatically alert message is sent to developers. And also development team and operations team will interact each other and they will take regular feedbacks like how that software is working. They will perform various kinds of activities. These are various kinds of activities. First one is setting up monitoring tools. Guys, normally in software companies, there will be separate team in order to monitor software performance. Like if we install software, how much memory the software is consuming, how much CPU power it is consuming, and what is response time, what are error rates, what is our system performance, what is user behavior. They will monitor everything. So in order to monitor all this in DevOps, they will use various kinds of tools like Prometheus and Grafana. And next one is logging. Guys, whenever any user log into that particular software, complete information is stored in logging tools. Like what activity that user performed on that software, how much time is spent on that software, for what kind of user input, how that software is responding. Complete information is stored in logging tools. There are various kinds of logging tools that are used in DevOps like ELK, Splunk and etc. And by using these tools, we can collect, we can store and we can analyze log data. And third one is alerting. For example, I developed one software. That software is not responding properly and it is consuming lot of memory. So whenever it is consuming lot of memory, automatically I will get one alert message. So immediately developer will take action. So if we set alert systems, whenever any matrices exceeds, automatically we will get alert message and we can fix that issue. And fourth one is analyzing data. Guys, analyzing data is nothing but after collecting complete data from monitoring and logging tools, that complete information is represented in the form of bars and charts. So by seeing that graphs and charts, we can clearly identify performance of our software. And fifth one is feedback loop. So based on feedbacks from monitoring and logging tools, developers team and operations team will interact each other and they will fix that issue. And last one is continuous improvement. So if we continuously monitor our software and take feedbacks, we can easily fix that issue and we can improve our software performance. These are various kinds of monitoring tools. They are Grafana, Nagios, Prometheus, Datadog, etc. And whereas for data visualizing, we'll use tools like ELK Stack, New Release, etc. Next, I will explain release management in DevOps. Release management in DevOps includes scheduling, planning, and controlling software development process across development, testing, pre-production and production environments. Guys, release management is nothing but controlling entire software development process from developing software to placing that software in production server. Controlling this entire process is known as release management. When to start and when to manage and complete all these stages comes under release management. This release management typically involves version control, continuous integration and continuous deployment pipelines, automated testings, deployment automation and monitoring. Guys, version control is nothing but placing our code in Git and GitHub. After placing our code in GitHub, automatically continuous integration, testing and deployment. All these works are done automatically by using various kinds of tools in DevOps. These tools are known as automation tools. In DevOps, we will use various kinds of automation tools in order to complete entire work, from developing software to placing our software in production server. So if we use automation tools, our work will complete very fast, that way with very few errors or without any errors. So this will be good for business and as well as users. So in simple terms, release management in DevOps is all about making sure that when we release or update any new software, everything goes smoothly, and this entire work is done by using automation tools and processes. Guys, in the software development process, release manager will perform scheduling, planning and controlling software development process. When to start that software and how to complete the software. This entire control is under release manager. And next one is product owner. What kind of software user want and what are the features that must be present in the software. Everything is prepared by product owner. And whereas testing manager is responsible for testing software in order to make that software bug free, and whereas security team will provide security to that software. And last one is DevOps. DevOps team will automate entire work by using various kinds of tools. From writing code to placing that software in production server, complete work is automated by using DevOps team. Here DevOps team will use various kinds of tools in order to complete entire work. These are some of the challenges in release management. First one is coordination. When to develop software and when to release that software. All team members in company like developers, testers, managers, they all must coordinate each other and they need to complete work in smooth way and they need to release software as soon as possible. So when to complete software and how to complete software. Everything is decided by all team members by coordinating each other. And second one is complexity. Guys, for example, if you develop any software, it may work in one system or it may not work in another system. So here you need to manage complexity. That is nothing but dealing with different environments like on your computer versus a website. So make everything fit together smoothly. And third one is risk management. Whatever the software that we develop, we need to make sure that software is working smoothly without any errors. In case if there are any errors, immediately we need to fix that errors so it will not cause any problems to users. And fourth one is time pressure. Guys, in DevOps, we need to develop high quality software, that too in short period of time. We need to face all these challenges in release management. Next one is benefits of release management. First one is consistency. In DevOps, if you want to develop any new software, then again we need to follow the same steps. So it will avoid mistakes and confusion. And second one is efficiency. DevOps will not focus on unnecessary steps. So without wasting any time, DevOps process will complete software faster and smoother. And third one is quality assurance. Before actually placing software in original server, in DevOps we will place software in dummy server. If everything is working well in dummy server, then we will place that software in original server. So it will avoid bigger issues. And fourth one is customer satisfaction. One and only goal in DevOps is customer satisfaction. How we can satisfy any customer? We can satisfy any customer by releasing high quality software in short period of time. These are benefits of release management. Guys, these are popular companies using automated release management without disturbing services. For example, if you consider Netflix, daily new movies are releasing in Netflix without disturbing any service. So Netflix, Amazon, Spotify, automated release management without disturbing any service. Next I will explain relationship between DevOps and ITIL. Guys, ITIL stands for Information Technology Infrastructure Library. Guys, this ITIL is nothing but it is a guidebook. It is like a handbook. By following this handbook, we can manage IT services. This handbook covers various things like fixing problems when they come up, making changes to computer systems, and handling user requests. This handbook covers all these things. And whereas ITIL lifecycle contains set of steps that shows how IT services are planned, built and delivered over time. Overall, this ITIL is like a roadmap for managing IT services. And whereas DevOps is a teamwork for software. That is nothing but development team and operations team will communicate each other and they will develop software. And also in DevOps, we'll use various kinds of automation tools in order to complete entire work. And in DevOps, we'll keep everyone sync. In DevOps, what kind of work is done by various kinds of employees? We can see complete information. So make sure that everyone involved in making software is on the same page and knows what they are doing. But how DevOps and ITIL works together? First one is similar goals. Both DevOps and ITIL has one goal, that is use technologies in order to reach goal. So both ITIL and DevOps want to make sure that technology helps a company reaches its goal. Second one is improving process. ITIL will give plan for managing IT tasks, and whereas DevOps will give various kinds of tools for completing work faster and in better way. Third one is teamwork and communication. Guys, ITIL will say that everyone must be on same team. That is, everyone must work together in order to complete work. So even in DevOps, both development team and operations team will communicate each other and they will complete work. So both DevOps and ITIL have same idea. That is, everyone must work together. And fourth one is making things easier with automation. Guys, ITIL says that we need to complete work in smooth way, that too with very less mistakes. But in order to achieve this ITIL goal, we need to use DevOps tools. So DevOps focus on automating repetitive tasks, which can make ITIL process smoother and less prone to mistakes. Here ITIL focus on how to develop IT services, and whereas DevOps focus on how to develop and release particular software. So even though both focuses are different, they both can team up so that companies run smoothly and keep customers happy.